contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hello there, everybody. Welcome to
the Ganja Gospel.
Ganja Gospel.
It's really high. Here we go. It's on my tits now. Here we
are.
are.
I know what's wrong. I know.
It's got to be tighter.
Hang on. Yep.
It's
Got to be
tighter
tighter. There we go. Yeah. That's better.
So here we are, Ganja Gospel, everybody. It's Sunday. It's the day of Shabbat. Is that what it is?
Is it?
The day of Shabbat, is that what they call it? The day of
rest?
The day of rest or the day of Sabbath?
In the bushes, too.
The Sabbath, that's what they were saying. The Sabbath was on
a
Saturday, and they decided to change it to a Sunday. And they say that's the day of rest God was talking about. It was Saturday. And Sunday was the day of worship. So day of rest is Saturday, and day of worship is Sunday. And you got to work Monday through Friday. That seems pretty ruthless, man. But, you know, as Lord Anki really pointed out, they worked 6 days. And on that 7th day, they had a party. They partied. So they worked 6 days. And on that 7th day, they partied. And stuff. But shout out to the network.
Shout out.
Toking with and Dorkening, Hellfire Radio. All you out there, man. Shout out to you guys. Cheers.
Greenhaven Media and all of everybody involved with the Dorkening and the network.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you.
You've entered the Twisted Zone and the La La Show. And you will get this red pill shoved right in your face. It's just the truth, you know. It's the truth on who the gods are, and what the hell's going on. And, you know, we've read the Sumerian tablets, Lost Book of Enki. We've read all kinds of different tablets and texts and stories and books. And, you know, I've read personally throughout the years since 2018, all kinds of different shit, or at least listen to them with you guys. And here we are with the book of Og, Enoch, and the Giants. So we went through the 100,000 Giants War, which is crazy, all about one side who opposed Babylon and Nimrod's side, and they were against them, and they had circumcised penises, the ones that were on Nimrod's side, and they was against it all. And that whole other side, that whole other army that was against Babylon and Nimrod, came over here and chopped people to pieces, and they ate people, and they won the war. So, you know, you got to think about that. Babylon fell. Babylon lost. We all know Babylon lost. But you don't really think about who were they fighting. They were fighting the fallen angels and all the damn giants.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, that's who they fought. That's who King Og is. He's a fallen angel's child, you know. The Raphaim. So here we are with the Enoch. Mm-hmm. Now, Enoch was a human person, like 7th man from Adam or something, 9th man from Adam, some shit like that, right? The great grandfather of Noah, right? The grandfather of Noah's father, okay? And what's crazy is Enoch got to talk to all those people, both sides. He was the go-between. You know him by a different name. It's not Murdoch. It's not Murdoch from the A-Team, although he plays that role pretty good, right? What his name is, Metatron. His name, you know him by the name of Metatron, right? So he is Metatron in your Bible. I know he's Enoch, but when he got raised up, God came and took him away. God didn't take him anywhere. Enlil literally took him up into space and to serve on his spaceship, and probably took him back to Nibiru with him too. But I'm just saying, he didn't take him to heaven. He took him into space. He was there the whole time, called Metatron. You didn't know him anymore on Earth as Enoch. You knew him as God's right-hand scribe in heaven as Metatron. You got to follow the story right. You got to go, well, where did he go? Well, he just disappeared. No. Where does Metatron care? Oh, wait, he's exactly Enoch. Oh, that's Enoch. That's exactly what Enoch is. It's wild. It's good shit, man. So here we are. We're on chapter 22nd. Now we're 23rd.
Mm-hmm. So just a quick two also. This is what we're going. A quick two also. What we're going through here. And what we're reading is what is being foretold to Enoch with
oh yeah, everyone's having dreams.
Yeah,
spit it out real quick.
Yes. As I was like, we need to give them a preface of what this has entailed already.
Remember, I don't really remember the whole thing with the Enoch because it's a lot of blah 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 blah.
What it is,
blah blah. But listen,
it's a lot of hatred, is what it is.
Giants were having dreams of this flood, and no one is really catching on to it, right? What was it saying? Let's read the preface real quick of the first, the beginning. The preface.
Oh, the one from
summary. Just a summary of the book, actually. Book.
Oh, well, the Book of Enoch.
No, yeah.
Okay, that's right here. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so this is from the gentleman, the Father Martin, who transcribed this. What follows are the first 36 chapters of the Book of Enoch. Again, we are about halfway through, a little bit more than halfway. Enoch, son of Jared, is a biblical character who was so righteous before God that he didn't die, but was translated into heaven. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Genesis 5:26. Enoch also had a son named Methuselah. So all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Genesis 5:27.
Yep. Now I want to hold your spot right there. And I want to remind you something. Lord Enki, who actually created people, and Lil didn't, he was on Earth. Remember, anytime Lord Enki went in a spaceship, what did he need to have?
A pilot.
A pilot. He did not know how to fly. So if anyone was taking anyone up in the sky, the only person that would do that was Enlil, the master of the sky. You got to get that right. If someone was going with Enki, they were going to the Abzu in Africa or underground. That's where they was going to go.
Enoch was also the great-grandfather of Noah, who steered the antediluvian old world into the post-diluvian new one with the ark that he built. Therefore, it comes as no surprise that any writings that Enoch was associated with become highly recommended by Bible scholars. In fact, the early Christian church celebrated the Book of Enoch and held it in high regard. Of course, there are currently different feelings concerning the text, which you can read about in the foreword of this book at your leisure. Published here are chapters 1 through 36, which are speculated to be c. 300 BC. Readers should know that there is more to Book of Enoch, which is not disclosed in this edition. These are short chapters. They're condensed for what we need to show you now. Part of the reasoning for this is that the excluded verses don't fit within the academic confines of this particular work. I hope that as you read the Book of Enoch, you notice and appreciate the presentation of the supernatural.
What that simply means is this book is about Og and the Giants and Enoch's involvement that he had with those specific beings. Now, in the book of Enoch, he talks all about man and God and all kinds of philosophical shit and goes on and on and on.
This is in reference to what this book is about. The book of
the
Enoch
Giants.
and the Giants.
Yep.
I hope that you read the book of Enoch and you noticed and appreciate the presentation of the supernatural. Above all, though, I hope that book becomes a spiritual meal that you digest slowly. These are ancient, forbidden concepts, and you are blessed to have the bulk of them in your hands right now.
Yeah.
All right. So as I was saying before, a lot of this is basically he is brought into a dream where he is told or is foretold what will be, how the land will live, if you will, the future of all, to Enoch from Enlil, I believe. Am I right?
God to Enoch. But at this time now, remember, this was like the couple dudes from Adam. You know what I'm saying? And they knew who the gods were. They saw spaceships. It was hard to like.
It was normal back then to see something flying and roaming out in the sky like that. Not an airplane.
They lived around where all those big platforms are. You know what I'm saying? And then later they built on them. So how would they not know that there was these huge fucking beings that were the gods? They didn't believe in the same viewing look of a god that we do or you guys do, They knew they were Anunnaki and they were different classes of them and shit, right? He was working for the master of the command because they all agreed on this. They all knew Enlil was the leader of everyone that was there. Enki was the leader of the mine. He was the leader of the mining site. So he was in charge of all that shit and whatever happened in his city. You know what I mean? But as of the whole world, he had no control over that. Control, master of the command. He made the decisions. That's why when they said, hey man, let all them motherfucking humans die in the flood, so be it. Let's do it because he said that's how it went down. Arm is like a motherfucker. That thing, scabies. Maybe that shlaka laka baka laka ba Ben David guy will come and bless me, give me miracles. Send me an angel, ooh, send me an angel. I got bud, I got bud.
All right, so chapter 23. Again, these are visions that are being given to Enoch for the future. From thence I went to another place, to the west of the ends of the earth, and I saw a burning fire which ran without resting, and paused not from its course day or night, but ran regularly. And I asked, saying, What is this which rests not? Then Raguel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered me, and said unto me, The course of fire, which thou hast seen, is the fire in the west, which persecutes all the luminaries of heaven. Chapter 24. And from thence I went to another place of the earth, and he showed me a mountain range of fire which burnt day and night, and I went beyond it, and saw 7 magnificent mountains, all differing each from the other, and the stones thereof were magnificent and beautiful, magnificent as a whole, of glorious appearance and fair exterior. Thee towards the east, one found on the other, and 3 towards the south, one upon the other, and deep, rough ravines, no one of which joined with any other. And the 7th mountain was in the midst of these, and it excelled them in height, resembling the seat of a throne, and fragrant trees encircled the throne. And amongst them was a tree such I had never yet smelt. Neither was my amongst them, nor were others like it. I had a fragrance beyond all fragrance, fragrance, and its leaves and blooms and wood wither not forever. And its fruit, it's beautiful, and its fruit resembles the dates of a palm. Then I said, how beautiful is this tree, and fragrant, and its leaves are fair, and its blooms very delightful in appearance. Then answered Michael, one of the holy and honored angels who was with me, and was their leader. And he said unto me, Enoch, why dost thou ask me regarding a fragrance of the tree? And why dost thou wish to learn the truth? Then I answered him, saying, I wish to know about everything, but especially about this tree. And he answered, saying, this high mountain which thou hast seen, whose summit is like the throne of God, is his throne, where the holy great one, the Lord of glory, and the eternal King will sit, when he shall come down to visit the earth with goodness. And as for this fragrant tree, no mortal is permitted to touch it till the great judgment, when he shall take vengeance on all and bring everything to its consummation forever. It shall then be given to the righteous and holy. Its fruit shall be for food to the elect. It shall be transplanted to the holy place, to the temple of the Lord, the eternal King. Then shall they rejoice with joy and be glad, and into the holy place shall they enter. And its fragrance shall be in their bones, and they shall live a long life on earth, such as thy fathers lived. And in their days shall no sorrow or plague or torment or calamity touch them.
Yeah.
Then blessed I, the God of glory, the eternal King, who hath prepared such things for the righteous, and hath created them, and promised to give to them. Chapter 26. And I went from thence in the middle of the earth, and I saw a blessed place in which there were trees with branches abiding and blooming, of a dismembered tree. And there I saw a holy mountain, and underneath the mountain to the east there was a stream, and it flowed towards the south. And I saw towards the east another mountain higher than this, and between them a deep and narrow ravine. In it also ran a stream underneath the mountain. And to the west thereof there was another mountain, lower than the former, and of small elevation, and a ravine, deep and dry, between them. And another deep and dry ravine was at the extremities of the three mountains. And all the ravines were deep and narrow, being formed of hard rock, and trees were not planted upon them. And I marveled at the rocks, and I marveled at the ravine. Yea, I marveled very much.
So crazy.
Chapter 27.
Imagine if you could go, like, with whatever Anunnaki he was with, and be like, yo, take me on that journey. Oh shit. No, he literally took him straight over mine zones and everything. He was talking when they're, remember, Enoch is sitting over there in the Middle East. So when they're talking about going to the west, over the water, and they're going to the west where there's land, they didn't hit Russia. They hit North America. They went to North America and saw all the goddamn mountains, Smoky Mountains. He talked about he went over the Smoky Mountain range. Now, imagine in the Anunnaki time, Anunnaki found gold and silver and all these precious metals, and they chopped shit down, baby. They mined the fuck out of shit. So when Enoch saw it, he saw what was there. When the snow melted, he got to see all the beautiful. He said there was a silver mountain, a mountain of diamonds, a mountain of fucking sapphires, a mountain of rubies. We know about that in Antarctica, though, too. So, you know, they were spoke about these things in North and South America. You know, don't think he went around the world and came back to Russia and shit. They would have said they went east for that, you know.
Chapter 27. Then said I, for what object is this blessed land, which is entirely filled with trees, and this accursed valley between?
That's North America.
Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, this accursed valley is for those who are accursed forever, There shall all the accursed be gathered together who utter with their lips against the Lord unseemly words, and of his glory speak hard things. Here shall they be gathered together, and here shall be their place of judgment. In the last days there shall be upon them the spectacle of righteous judgment in the presence of the righteous forever. Here shall the merciful bless the Lord of glory and the eternal King. Alternate translation for that. Here shall they be gathered together, and here shall be the place of their habitation. In the last times, in the days of the true judgment, in the presence of the righteous forever. Here shall be godly. Here shall the godly bless the Lord of glory, the eternal King.
Mm-hmm.
In the days of judgment over the former, they shall bless him for the mercy in accordance with which he has assigned them their lot. When I blessed the Lord of glory and set forth his glory and lauded him gloriously. Chapter 28.
Hold on 1 second. So in the time of Enoch, one of the Anunnaki picked him up, flew him over to North America, and said, see this place with the mountains here, those mountains there, the big valley between them? You got to think about this. They're up in the sky. They're seeing this as a smaller view. They see the mountains over by California, whatever, Rocky Mountains. They see the Smoky Mountains on the East Coast with the valley. What do we call the plains that we all grow food and have? The Fertile Valley, don't we? That's the valley they're talking about. The land covered with trees. He was like, you see this land that's all covered with trees? This is going to be the land where we're going to come back and judge. God's going to come back and judge all the people that are going to. I know it don't look like much now, but pretty soon there's going to be fuck tons of people here. And they're all going to be talking shit about God. And he's going to come and he's going to wipe them off this fucking land over here, the promised land. Okay, watch. This is fantastic.
And thence I went towards the east into the midst of the mountain range of the desert, and I saw a wilderness, and it was solitary, full of trees and plants, and water gushed forth from above, rushing like a copious watercourse, which flowed toward the northwest. It caused clouds and dew to ascend on every side. Chapter 29. And thence I went to another place in the desert and approached to the east of this mountain range. And there I saw aromatic trees exhaling the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh. And the trees also were similar to the almond tree.
Now you know he's back in the Middle East. He already said he went back to the east. And you can tell by the trees over in goddamn North America, he was smelling like mimosa and shit. The trees we got here, all the shit we got here. And then here he went back there. We don't have freaking sense here. Oh, yeah, we got the mud.
Chapter 30. And beyond these, I went afar to the east, and I saw another place, a valley full of water. And therein there was a tree, the color of fragrant trees, such as the mastic. And on the sides of those valleys, I saw fragrant cinnamon. And beyond these, I proceeded to the east. Chapter 31.
Beyond the cinnamon, wherever cinnamon came from originally, he went to the east of that. Remember, he was already to the east from the west. So he was east of the west. We are the west, right? Never eat soggy wieners. We are the west. To whenever you hear anyone in the biblical times, anyone in the old days, BC, a little after AD, anything like that, they're talking about the West. That's us. That's us. Unless they're talking about like, west from Jerusalem, like Africa. But when they're talking about the land, the big land mass to the West, that's America. North and South, all of it. Canada. Y'all in this too, Canada. Don't think you're not in this, Canada. God don't see that border, bro. God don't see that border. Coming for your ass. Slave master heaven, motherfucker.
Chapter 31. And I saw other mountains, and amongst them were groves of trees, and there flowed forth from them nectar, which is named Sarara and Galbanum. And beyond these mountains I saw another mountain, to the east of the ends of the earth, whereon were aloe trees, and all the trees were full of stacte, being like almond trees. And when one burnt it, it smelled sweeter than any fragrant odor.
Wow. See, I think there he was in like the east of India, where like Alexander the Great, he went so far in his conquering of the world, he couldn't go any farther because the mountain range was there, like from in Russia area.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't get any further. Like he did all like India and into China, but then couldn't get past those mountains. So it was like, oh, fuck it. I think that's where they're talking about, past India into that spot.
Hmm.
You know, that's fine. It'll go away with this shit.
Chapter 32. And after these fragrant odors, as I looked toward the north over the mountains, I saw 7 mountains full of choice nard and fragrant trees and cinnamon and pepper.
Nard?
Nard. And I came to the garden of righteousness and saw beyond those trees many large trees growing there and of goodly fragrance, large, very beautiful and glorious, and the tree of wisdom whereof they eat and know great wisdom.
Tree of wisdom.
Alternate translation for that. To the northeast I beheld 7 mountains full of choice nard and mastic and cinnamon and pepper. And thence I went over the summits of all these mountains, far towards the east of the earth, and passed above the Erythraean sea, and went far from it, and passed over the angel Zotiel. And I came to the garden of righteousness, and from afar off trees more numerous than these trees, and great 2 trees there, very great, beautiful and glorious and magnificent, and the tree of knowledge, whose holy fruit they eat and know great wisdom.
Yep. So a lot of people, some people say, we know where the biblical Garden of Eden is. Like, I know where it is. I know where the Anunnaki actually say their garden was. Some people think this, like, holier place that, like, where Enoch is talking about is in the north, the actual North Pole. And there's old maps which depict the North Pole, how it was with 4 rivers going, one north, one south, one east, and one west. The 4 rivers that feed the world, because they're actually coming from the inside of our planet. And this big ocean is pouring out, and they're fresh water, and they're filling up the water on the earth. And there's also supposedly a big, huge world tree that when you, it's the tree of knowledge, they say, these people, and they say that's where actually the actual Garden of Eden is, like Enoch is saying, like Enoch is saying.
That tree is in height like the fir, and its leaves are like those of the carob tree, and its fruit is like the clusters of the vine, very beautiful, and the fragrance of the tree penetrates afar.
So,
go ahead.
Is more about the tree?
Then I said, how beautiful is the tree, and how attractive is its look. And that's all that.
Okay, so in the Bible, it says the fruit's an apple, but Enoch goes and bears witness to the tree of knowledge and says its fruit is it clusters.
It clusters of the vine.
Clusters of the vine.
Like the clusters of the vine.
So the
Very
fruit
beautiful.
that hangs off of this tree is in a cluster like a grapevine. Not an apple. Well, I guess it could be an apple, but they're not how they depict it. It could be a cluster of apples, possibly.
Height like the fir.
Height like the fir, so it's like what, 50 feet, 30
Leaves
50
like the carob. I don't know if I'm
carob?
saying that right. Carob. Leaves like the carob or carob, or I'm not sure. And its fruit is like the clusters of the vine. Very beautiful. And the fragrance of the tree penetrates afar. Carob. Okay, yep, carob. It's an algae.
No, it's a bean. There's carob bean.
Do carob tree.
Carob
tree.
Carob tree. Also, here's like what the beans look like.
Leaves like the carob, not beans.
Yeah.
Leaves.
Oh, it looks like a cannabis plant, like a giant fucking cannabis plant. Like that.
Okay, so
Oh man, we've seen shit like this. I bet
Okay,
you
so
know what
leaves
this
like
is.
the carob. Hopefully you can see it. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see it because of the fucking green screen.
No, it's not good.
Let me take it off real quick.
That's good.
Okay.
So that's what it looks like. You got it.
Carob. Go ahead and look it up. CAROB. Carob
Carob
tree.
tree.
Cheers, Lark Busters.
So it looks like that and has fruit that is in clusters like on the vine. Okay.
So this is what the tree
That's
of knowledge
cool.
looks like in the garden of righteousness.
Yeah.
Then Raphael, the holy angel who was with me, answered me and said, "This is the tree of wisdom, of which thy father, old in the years, and thy aged mother, who were before thee, have eaten. And they learnt wisdom, and their eyes were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven out of the garden."
Wow. There you go. We know that's not true though. Well, at least that's not what Lord Enki
That's
said.
not what Lord Enki said. They might have been driven out of the garden, but not because they were naked.
Yeah. So here's a better picture. He's like the carob tree.
What he didn't like was the fact that
You can look it up.
that they were becoming civilized.
Like them. They were getting the knowledge of the Anunnaki.
For them to not know, he wanted them to not know that it was, it was fine for them to be naked. They shouldn't have been,
The original creation, the primitive worker, black people, right? We don't know really what the woman was colored. They said the woman that they created first to be making the people that would go work in the mines and take over the toils of the Anunnaki that were down there working for hundreds of thousands of years or whatever. They made a primitive worker. The dude was brown and red, not black, not brown, maybe not African American looking or African look, brown and red. The red man, it's the red man, right? Redskin. We called them Redskins when our ancestors came here, right? We called them Redskins. They were brown and red. That's what it was. So the woman was the color of the Anunnaki with blonde hair. Okay. Now
the hair the color of sand.
Yes. Blonde. That's blonde.
To be specific. Yeah. I do remember that.
Yes. So those people were actually got the go ahead. They got the go okay from Enlil. Why? Because they didn't know how to read and write. They barely knew how to talk. They only knew how to understand simple commands in work. That's all they knew. They were bred to work. Why do you think they never complained? They never asked for wages. They never said the work was hard and that's not fair. They never asked for shit. They did what they were made to do. They made it specifically like encoded DNA to be a slave. They did that. Now, why then, if those were okay, why did Adam and Eve? Why didn't they get approved? Why was it such a sin? Oh my God, why you got clothes on? Why? What's going on here? Because Lord Enki, when he banged two of the primitive workers, he banged two primitive workers. He was like, God damn, this black chick's hot. Whatever color. I always say the black. They could have been blue. They could have been purple. You ever see people that kind of shine? The tanner people that kind of shine. You ever see that glow on people? They have this goldish glow, right? Black people, some people are blackish red. Some brown, brownish red, brownish gold, brownish purple. You ever seen a dude so black? We call him blurple. You know what I'm saying? Or blunt. Like he's blunt. You know what I'm saying? He's so dark, right? But they're like a tone of purple almost sometimes, right? Maybe they're tones of blue. So maybe like the Indian people, what are you reading there? Like the Hindu people, they drew that their people, their gods were green, red, purple, blue, all kinds of colors. So, maybe the woman was a different color, like blue, purple. And people that were created were all different purplish colors. Later, the people changed colors, right? Like because Lord Enki and everybody took these people in secret, took the first Adam and Eve characters, or the second, I should say. And they're like, hey, we're going to teach these ones everything we know. We're going to teach them math and all this kind of shit. When they did that, is what they said. When they did that, they started knowing shit. And what happened? Lord Enki came over to the Garden of Eden and was like, hey, what the fuck are they wearing? Why is he looking at the stars, bro? Why is he drawing pictures and shit? What the fuck is this? No, I said dumb fucking tools. We want primitive slaves. That's all we want. Because remember, it was against the creator of all to take slaves, to keep slaves. It was against the creator of all to do his work and actually create a living being. That's what they knew, right? How to get switched. Let's see what else we got in there.
Chapter 33.
Oh, shit.
And from thence I went to the ends of the earth and saw there great beasts, and each differed from the other. And I saw birds also differing in appearance and beauty and voice, the one differing from the other. And to the east of those beasts I saw the ends of the earth whereon the heaven rests, and the portals of the heaven open. And I saw how the stars of heaven come forth, and I counted the portals out of which they proceed, and wrote down all their outlets of each individual star by itself, according to their number and their names, their courses and their positions, and their times and their months, as Uriel, the holy angel who was with me, showed me. He showed me all things. He showed all things to me and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, and their laws and their companies.
Now he's with Uriel. Okay, he's with Uriel flying around up in the sky. I told you there's portals. There's 12 portals, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 portals. One of these portals is Oblivion. One of the portals is a prison for Anunnaki, whether angels, whatever you want to call them, they're the same motherfuckers. There's a portal for angels so that they can't hurt us. Their spirits can never, ever come out of that motherfucker because they're powerful. Told you, take away their flesh, they're super powerful, just like you.
Chapter 34. And from thence I went towards the north to the ends of the earth, and there I saw a great and glorious device at the ends of the whole earth. And here I saw 3 portals of heaven open in the heaven. Through each of them proceed north winds. When they blow, there is cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. And out of one portal they blow for good. But when they blow through the other 2 portals, it is with violence and affliction on the earth, and they blow with violence. Chapter 35.
So there's 3 portals.
And from thence I went towards the west of the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 portals of the heaven open, such as I had seen in the east. The same number of portals and the same number of outlets. Chapter 36. And from thence I went to the south, to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 open portals of the heaven. And thence there come dew, rain, and wind. And from thence I went to the east of the ends of the earth, and saw there the 3 eastern portals of heaven open, and small portals above them. Through each of these small portals pass the stars of heaven, and run their course to west on the path which is shown to them. And as often as I saw, I blessed always the Lord of glory, and I continued to bless the Lord of glory, who was wrought great and glorious wonders, to show the greatness of his work to the angels and to spirits and to men, and they might praise his work in all his creation, that they might see the work of his might and praise the great work of his hands and bless him forever. Okay, that is the end, and I'm going to read the afterword of Father Martin, because that is the end of the book, but we are going to go back.
That was 36?
Yep.
Wow.
We're going to go back next week and pick apart 10,000 Giant Word, but I'm going to read the afterword.
Yeah.
From Augustine's Enchiridion.
What's up, Art?
All of nature is good, since the creator of all nature is supremely good. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who tells lies will not escape. Proverbs 19:5.
That's right.
Let me say first that I have never had a reason in my life to question my faith. Perhaps it was my fortunate upbringing. School came easily as it did my appointment to the Vatican. I must tell you my main idea right now. I doubt the existence of Lucifer. Thermodynamics lets us know that matter can't be truly created or destroyed. We, on God's good planet, do not have the power over matter. But it begs the question that somehow evil was indeed created. And the answer, God is the creator. Something created evil. The church has historically danced around the line of creation when presented with the concept of evil. The church's traditional argument is that evil is simply represented by nothing. It is an absence of space. Evil equals the absence of goodness. But did God not create the empty space that evil now occupies? I have arrived at the point of wondering what kind of mental pretzel the church wants me to bend into. How do you wish to not approach the idea that God created evil? My favorite Saint Augustine has this to say. Nevertheless, while no one mountains that good and evil are not contraries, they cannot only coexist, but the evil cannot exist at all without the good, or in a thing that is not good. On the other hand, the good can exist without evil, for a man or an angel could exist and yet not be wicked, whereas there cannot be wickedness except in a man or an angel. It is good to be a man and good to be an angel, but evil to be wicked. Understand that for my entire career as a Jesuit, I have struggled with the concept of evil. Evil is a breaking down of goodness. It is the absolute antithesis of goodness. Goodness corroded into nothingness. Evil can be defined as an empty pocket of darkness, if you will. If an all-knowing God created the potential for evil, God should also know the results of such potential, should he not? He knows infinite possibilities, past, present, and future, does he not? God lives outside of time, does he not? Yet he didn't create evil. Evil pulled a fast one and suddenly placed this restless opposition in place, aside from God's immutable creative abilities.
I'm not God, right?
No.
I live outside of time. I see past, present, and future. I'm just maybe.
Consider the book of Job 1:6-12.
Get a job.
From the King James Version. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them.
Learn and learn.
And the Lord said unto Satan,
I like that.
whence I said that.
Oh, you did?
I said that in the can of one of the canopreneur ones that we were in.
Burn
And
and learn.
he wanted to steal it from me.
Our drink from the wine. Fine. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to let you know that I said that 2 years ago in our conference.
I like it. Burn and learn. Welcome to Burn and Learn.
Welcome to Burn and Learn and Learn and Burn and
Yeah.
Burn and Learn.
Burn and learn. The Ganja Gospel.
Cheers, James.
It's the you notice
Totally
it's,
stopped in my tracks on that.
It's the gospel of the ganja because all of it
Mental
stems
pretzel.
from ganja. You know that, right? Like the true tree of knowledge. Like I know what they're saying here. That's weed, man. You smoke weed, and all of a sudden you're like opened up to a whole new world, aren't you? You might be ashamed because your dick's out. I don't give a fuck no more. I'm so high. I don't give a fuck. Y'all don't ever tell me when my zipper's down, but see, I wear shorts under my shit. You can never see it.
Nice, James.
It's like this big.
He says, I drank from the vine. I smoked dank from the vine.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, so my tree of knowledge is the weed because we don't have no other kind of thing, you know. Tree of life is DNA, of course, you know. So in the Bible, we got the holy anointing oil made out of 10 pounds of weed and some other shit, but 10 pounds of weed went in there. So, you know, it's all in there. They roasted it though. You know why? Because cannabis. Why? This is my question. Why does a nation that says cannabis will cure the nation have to continuously keep smoking it? You know why? Because cannabis does cure the nation. But you know what? Fire destroys the humans. It destroys us, right? So we burn the weed. If you look deep, you read deep the right way, it says that was the damn sin. You weren't supposed to ever put fire to the holy flower. You know what I'm saying? You were supposed to put it, either eat it, put it in oil. That's why they always said we partook in oil. Well, they just grabbed oil and started drinking. What the fuck would you drink oil for? Unless there was goddamn THC oil in that shit. There was THC. They were drinking to find oil. It was against that shit to burn it, go and smoke it. What they do, though, they put the seeds and shit in the fires, and they roasted the fires as incense. That was their way. Go ahead, baby.
Okay, so consider the book of Job.
Rub down their balls on their feet and get all high.
Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? When Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear God or not? For not? Hast not thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. Theologians, my God,
Theologians.
I cannot. Sometimes I look at a word and I can't.
Who was God in this story? Who was God and who was Satan? Remember, in this story, the outcome was God rained brimstone and fire. He belter loader that shit from space. He lassoed a fucking meteor and bombarded the earth. Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? Who was God in this? Right? We got these stories straight from Enlil's mouth. This is straight from Enlil. This is Enlil's story right here. Job was his puppet. Job is his bitch. I swear. Go ahead, baby.
Theologians have wrestled for multiple lifetimes over this passage. Are the words of the Bible, in fact, not the inspired words of God? Some theologians are even willing to dismiss this opener into the systematic destruction of Job's life as artistic license by the framers of the Bible.
He literally played with this motherfucker, took everything he had, killed his whole family, and said, hey, if you just keep worshiping me, I'll give it all back to you. He did. But imagine that. Why fuck with people, man? Your God's so good and great. No, it's not. The creator of all leaves people undisturbed, bro. The tree grows by
as God. Either the words are inspired or they aren't. Is not sin supposed to be judged this way? If I can smell the acute, filthy failure of mankind in any words of the Bible, then the entire book is suspect, is it not? Using such circuitous fuel, I allowed my mind to consider my loving God as also the creator of evil. If God, a being of complete love, created evil, then we are obviously forced to look at him differently. In my darker moments, I have considered the fallen angels, specifically Lucifer. I have tried and tried to comprehend how a creature of light that stands exclusively in the presence of the most holy could find that place of dark nothingness, that potentially evil gray zone, and embrace it, thereby becoming absolute evil.
So real quick, one thing. Now, here we go. Here we go. I know y'all might be leaning, but like, Twisted, man, they're talking about a cosmic God, dude, that comes above the Anunnaki. But hey, not when they say fallen angel. We already know that's the Nephilim. They created giants. Who do we know? That was the Anunnaki. All Anunnaki, all day, every day. Don't ever be confused when they bring in angels and gods and you just don't know their fucking names. I'll give you the truth. We'll feed it to you spoonful. I'll get a little spoon and sit here all day until you're done eating. Look at that plant in the bag. Oh, she's pretty. She's lean too.
In short, how does God's How does God's number one creation turn its back on him? Better still, as far as Christian dogma goes, God the Father chooses who will sit on the left or the right-hand side of Jesus in New Jerusalem. That is the closest that I know that one can get to God within the limitations of the words of the Bible. Lucifer had more than this and still chose darkness. Did God create the nothingness void for Lucifer to fill? Did God allow Lucifer to own the darkness like so many mad pigs running to the water?
Yeah.
Was the void there to be commanded by the first creation that discovered it? If Lucifer was in the very undefiled presence of God the Father, God, the pre-incarnate Son, and God the Holy Spirit, and still managed to become the worst possible creature in existence, what chances do I have of being a true Christian?
Right?
Do you appreciate the argument that I am assembling here? Lucifer was closer to God than I could ever be, entrusted with an incredible issuance of power, and yet Lucifer chose darkness. What is the point of following Christ when at the end of the day, if you rebel, you might just get something that secures your real estate in existence? You might get a pocket of nothingness to develop. Lucifer got the nothingness real estate of hell. He also secured the power of to really make humans, God's favorite creation, suffer. He also secured dominance of the planet Earth on top of his hell. Oh, and when God decided to trifurcate himself and send his only begotten son, Satan was allowed to have his way with him. Though if one really meditates on it, the anguish of the Christ is so pronounced and so loud that it diverts the attention from what Satan would have really done, which was repeatedly have Christ raped. This would have been the fleshly dominance that Satan would have been after. Satan was out to humiliate the Christ, yet there is no rape. Did that rape happen and it was left out of the Holy Scriptures? I have pondered the non-sexual aspect of the end of Christ's life, not as a pervert, but as a Roman. If the Romans really wanted to disrespect Christ, if the Jews really wanted to disrespect Christ, then the genitals would have been involved.
Yep.
Understand my internal self-flagellation when considering such things. But there it is, a stark truth. If sexual assault had been addressed in such a manner, we might be in a different world today. But I digress.
Yep.
Lucifer was closer to God than I will ever be. Lucifer was upper management. If upper management with God himself is enough for one to strike out and create their own kingdom with something that God left lying around, the possibilities are endless. They are also useless to explore. Again, the argument and thought pattern and damnably circuitous. He's a writer. What God has given us humans to do battle with our overpowered enemy, Lucifer, is spiritual weaponry, the armor of God and the name and blood of Jesus to do warfare in the spirit realm. I must now tell you of my comprehension of the rite of exorcism. I have been present at hundreds of such ceremonies. When performed within the Catholic religion, exorcism is a rite, a ritual, a series of steps. Similarly, as a Jesuit who was originally a born-again Christian from North America, I have witnessed the Baptist Assemblies of God and generally interdenominational versions of deliverance for exorcism as well. However, within the confines of the previously mentioned branches of the Christian Church, the ritual that liberates humans from the control of evil spirits is most certainly only referred to as deliverance. The non-Catholic deliverance has no set ritual, but it does employ the previously mentioned weapons of warfare, God, blood, and Jesus Christ. The actual during an exorcism or deliverance session have ring with my own eyes. I have never seen an apparition or a ghost or specter or however which way in spirit. Or unmade object or other tradition
son. I see him. They had no over. No, what's
To be as
start.
the supernatural as a Christian is that the name of Jesus Christ is to be applied to all spiritual warfare when a demon is present. The Jesuit order, and frankly, do not accept a different answer. His name is the spiritual evil. At this time, I must apologize. It is to give all the details at this time. I simply do not know of any. I am climbing to get.
I have a cut here real quick. Watch this. Why would Jesus have any power for dead giants that they cursed the evil spirit? Jesus have any power over giants that were dead a long time ago before Jesus, thousands of years before Jesus was ever born? Remember, Jews walked through the desert and killed the rest of them motherfuckers. In Jesus's day, it was me and you. There might have been a couple tall people. There was tall people throughout history. We saw them 10, 8 feet tall. Not the giants, not the real giants. Leftovers and stuff. Maybe there's some mud flood stuff. You know, maybe cool. We got to find more evidence. But I'm saying there is none left. Why would Jesus's name have any effect on a giant? Right? You ever ask yourself that? You might say, because that's God's son. Oh, okay. Well, who cursed the giants? Who cursed the giants to be flesh and blood, or be to rip from the flesh, right? Enlil supposedly cursed the giants, and the Satan could be a couple different characters, right? Because I believe there's a story where it's Enki and Enlil both having a conversation, and they say it's God and Satan, right? God and Satan are supposedly having this conversation about Job, and you know, God saying, look, my subjects worship me totally. Well, wait a minute. Why is God saying subjects? What are we comparing to here? There was other subjects that didn't worship God. He won't say you're the fucking top dog. I bet you. And he tested Job. He goes, okay, I bet you, Satan. I bet you. Let's play with this little fucking slave. Let's see. Let's take all his shit away, kill all his people. In his eyes, he murdered all his fucking family, took all his shit away, made all the people denounce him as whatever the fuck he was, kicked him out of his town, everything, made him a poor, wretched motherfucker for however long. Because, you know, for them, they go take a piss, come back. It's been fucking 30 years on Earth. You know what I'm saying? Who knows how long he left this motherfucker in the gutter. And then he come back and be like, hey, man, this dude's still saying you're the top dog. I guess you're right. You wouldn't have bet. He's like, all right, cool. I'm going to give Job everything he's got back. But after I do that, watch this. Choo-choo, 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 choo-choo. What's the next story? God rain down brimstone and fire on top. Same dude, same chick, because Job had, right? Job left the damn Sodom and Gomorrah, and his wife, they were like, don't turn back. Because, you know, if you turn back, that means you like raping in the butt. And then when Job's, or was that Lot? That was Lot. Different story.
I was like, I think you're thinking of a different
That's
story.
Lot. But that's the next story, though. Sodom and Gomorrah happens because it's in the same city. What up, Rickard?
At this time, I must apologize. It is premature for me to give all of my details at this time. I simply do not know of any other medium than this one that I am clumsily using to get word out. So this is his message to you all in the DL. I apologize because I am going to deliberately obscure some items in the upcoming paragraphs. Those morsels of truth I will tell later when I get to the end of this fantastic road I find myself on. Now, when I am faced with the supernatural, I should be prepared. I have extensive knowledge of how to wield the name of Jesus. I wake up in the morning and arm myself with the previously mentioned whole armor of God spoken of in Ephesians 6. This, aligned with my absolute belief that Jesus Christ died upon the cross for my sins and was resurrected, makes me armed for battle. My knowledge and faith on the subject of Christian spiritual warfare has always been strong. I am not boasting. I fast and pray an entire day every third week to keep my spirit limber, and I have been doing so off and on since I was in my mid-20s. Here's my story. I was recently faced with the supernatural. I used the name of Jesus to no avail. This evil continued toward me. It was drawn to me rather than repelled. I called for the blood of Christ and saw no results. Imagine my fervor. I was dumbstruck. Imagine the tatters of my faith as I saw that which I was supposed to use for spiritual combat falter. There really was no plan B. Need I also add that this evil struck me in the face. It struck me in such a way that I could no longer speak or call on Jesus or his precious blood to cover and protect me.
Damn.
As I lay on my back with my own blood frothing in my mouth, trying to speak through my teeth, my eyes took in the visage, not good at that word, the full visage of the coldest hatred that I have ever witnessed. The eyes were dead, with a stillness that was well beyond heartbreak and sorrow. The windows were vacant, actually. Not even a dull spark in the back of the foul orbs. They were the cold eyes of a corpse, yet they were housed in the furious framework of angered, furrowed eyebrows and furiously squinted eyelids. The look was calculating and hateful. It was ancient and loathsome. And the teeth, tubular with glistening pointed ridges, clenched together, fitting perfectly, and the furious rumble that escaped underneath them. I never want to see this again. Shivering, consumed with fear, I shuddered beneath this hideous, powerful evil. I cowered, and I had to. I needed mercy. Air pushed up the back of my throat as if I were stifling a laugh. Blood and saliva from the impact leaked slowly into the recently cleared surface of my throat, causing me to choke. I was in a space of absolute terror. I couldn't close my eyes. The tears of discomfort welled. The racing thoughts and the survival complex excited and paralyzed me. I prayed as fervently as I could from behind my eyes. Adrenaline clawed at my back. Cortisol unloaded into my stomach. This pure dose of black, frenetic fear brought me to a point of losing consciousness.
Motherfucker piss his pants and shit.
This evil, it then released me. I experienced what I have just told you back in 2013 while here in Rome in Vatican City. Here is what I have learned as I came away from such a life-altering experience. First, I learned that the name of Jesus is useless in this form of spiritual warfare. Second, I learned that the blood of Jesus Christ is useless in this form of spiritual warfare as well. My life was virtually sin-free during the attack, as I had just spent an hour in the park walking and praying prior to the occurrence. I had a clean heart going into battle. What manner of warfare does such an evil respect? The only answer that I can hold is to fear, my fear. My fear and my fear alone was what got me through that situation. There is a power in such fear. Fear is the warfare I now use. It dawned upon me suddenly that evening as I wrote furiously in my journal. We have always been warned of fear in a spiritual context. Fear not, for I am with you, says the Lord. The Bible makes continual overtures to the notion that fear in and of itself is an energy that we should not entertain. Fear, I'm learning, might very well be the key.
It's powerful.
I do believe that it isn't healthy by any sense of the word health to continually pummel oneself with waves of anxiety and fear. Yet I have also wondered in earnest what manner of beacon the force of fear sends out in the spirit realm.
Remember the emotions on that movie? That was Warrior Nun. That's when it locked her power. She became super powerful.
Warrior Nun,
scared or fearful.
Warrior Nun on Netflix. It's really awesome. Awesome show. Now imagine how perplexed I was as I began to dig into the various meanings of words and phrases while translating the Book of Og into English. Imagine my stumbling across an evil mentioned in the book that I had never considered. Imagine how spellbound I was when the revelation exploded in my spirit that what was spoken of in the Book of Og was what I was sure that I had come into contact with.
The dark ones. The dark ones is what he's talking about.
Now, enter into my meditation with me. The Rephaim were working with a specific kind of evil. It is an evil that is mentioned in the Book of Og numerous times.
Let me just pause. It's not necessarily evil. They're just spirits that have lived here forever, and they say, hey, if you let me in, go inside your body, I'll be good. And then they get inside a body and they're like, oh shit, I got flesh. Oh, I can jerk off. Oh, I can kill people. They had fun. They were good and bad, whatever way you thought. Like, they thought they were good when they would go inside them and they would go chop up the bad guy. They thought they were bad when they would go inside them and turn around and chop them up. You see what I'm saying? It's however you look at it. Now, think of this. Know this. They had dark ones too, right? The Anunnaki had dark ones. The good guys, all those angels you're talking about, they had dark ones too. They're earth spirits. They're still here. We're our friends.
This evil is not satanic. It isn't bound by the laws of God or Satan. This is what takes us back to the title of this post. Satan's work is effectually done. There is a new evil afoot. My mind has been consumed for the past 3 years over the following. What pocket of nothingness has now been exploited? What is this that God has visited upon us? Has God given us weaponry to combat it? Please keep me in your prayers, peacefully and in fear. Father Martin, September 2016, Rome. Okay.
Yeah. So check it out. Those fallen angels and the Rephaim, those giants had magical powers. They were superior. They were just like the damn fallen angels. They were badass motherfuckers.
They
way
took
bigger.
Those dark ones into them, and the dark ones
took over completely.
Sometimes completely controlled them. Other times would work with them, and do it together, which is wild, right?
They said they completely would take over their minds in some cases. See what I'm saying? The most powerful beings on this planet, they could pick up Anunnaki and eat them. Just thanks.
So one of his last words there,
no power against them,
or phrases, was, there is a new evil afoot. But this really, like he said, this really isn't an evil. It is a dark one. It has an energy, and it is an energy that has been here since before even the Anunnaki got here.
Don't call on them.
Like,
you don't want them.
You don't, like, really. You don't want. There are energies on this world that are native to this world and this world alone. Yeah. Like, and they, things have come and gone and been created on this world, but they're still here and they will always be here. But they're not new. They're not new. They're ancient. And I guess they really just show themselves to those who maybe are ready to see them. Yeah. Maybe he, at this point during his transcriptions process, was ready to see a dark one.
Yeah.
To open his fucking mind up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's why it showed itself to him.
Yep.
Like, hey, motherfucker, we're here.
He passed out. Like, everything happened to him. Like, he was going to throw up that cortisol that goes in your stomach. Like, your stomach dropped. Like, you ever go down an elevator, a roller coaster and shit. That's what it is. Like, oh, like, imagine that happened. You're like, oh my God, everything is like sphincter fucking tightened up. You probably shit a little bit, pissed a little bit, and passed out. That thing made him pass out. It seized up everything in him. about how scared he was. He was fucking terrified. He called out every name in the book on his motherfucker. Nothing had
He
power.
had no plan B.
Like I said, how would Jesus have any power over them? If, especially those spirits toiled with them. They played with those Anunnaki, and they knew what those were. They were like, oh, we can come and be inside you. We don't just have to sit on your shoulders and shit. Okay, hey guy, hey dark ones, we got axes in our hands. Oh, what's that? Turn around, kill those guys. Okay. And you might think, well, why didn't they kill like everybody? Because there was only those group of giants that were on the battlefield at the time, so they only had to get to cut through 1,000 people. You know, it was wild.
And it talks about leaving, and we're gonna dissect.
And that's what they had to do to get them out of them.
I always say 10, but it's the 100,000 Giants War. So like, we're definitely gonna we grazed over it.
Versus who?
Long. It's a long thing, so it's gonna be a long segment. We may or may not put it into 2, but
maybe read the first part, the intro of it. It's
the
the 100,000 Giants War versus who, baby doll? Come on, Pop. Come this way.
Well, it's Og versus Enoch. And ow!
Nope, not Og versus Enoch. It's the 100,000 giants on one side, and they all have uncircumcised penises.
Oh, that part.
On that side,
I gotcha. Yeah.
The 100,000 giant side, those guys eat all the people that they find. There's black people all over. They eat those black guys. The guys they eat. The children, they sacrifice, right? They used to sacrifice the men until they came up with a better plan. And they're like, hey, why don't we just make the women have babies real quick? We'll sacrifice the kid. We'll eat the men because the men are big and strong and chewy. We'll eat the men, sacrifice the children, eat their blood, drain their pineal gland, wear their skins as shoes and faces, right? And masks on our face. And all the women we're going to turn into witches, priestesses, to praise us in the temples and shit. Really, it's just witches because they were teaching their magic. So that was who was on the 100,000 Giants War side. On the other side, who they were fighting against was King Nimrod in Babylon, in the Tower of Babel, and all the fucking humans and angels that we're reading about here, Enoch's talking about, that circumcised their penis. Did you want to read the first part?
There's really not a small spot to read about it.
No, the very, very first part. Like King Og. Like the Book of the Giants. Because that's it. It's like if you're going against Nimrod and shit, you know, Nimrod is with the people who circumcised their penis, and all the other people were against that. Nimrod was killed in the 100,000 Giants War, people.
Okay.
Nimrod was killed.
I'll just read the first paragraph of it. This is the 100,000 Giant War as scribed by both Anak, the keeper of the bodies before Baal, and Onzal, the slayer of the small cells before Baal. Now the uncircumcised Rephaim came to join forces with King Og, arriving from the hot and cold lands of elsewhere.
Uncircumcised came from the hot and the cold lands of elsewhere.
All the dispersed, uncircumcised Rephaim from the 4 corners of the world they came. When the uncircumcised Rephaim had arrived, King Og anointed his hair and beard with oil. He stood before 100,000 of them, and all in the high place of Baal of the earth.
So the 100,000 giants also were using this holy anointing oil that Jesus used, and they did their hair and their beard. Just to show you how it goes down in the old world.
Looking over his warriors and kingdom, he spoke with a loud voice, saying, "Thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time is come for you to reap. For the harvest of earth is ripe. For Baal of the earth and for the loss of the moon child, we go to war." He said. His voice was strong as that of harpists, musicians, pipers, and of trumpeters. Yeah. Baal of the moon then spoke through King Og's smaller self, sorceresses. They spoke to Ogyas, Orneus, Onzal, and Anak, the keeper of the bodies, before Baal, saying, "Take 50 giants, one from each army, and command each one of the 50 to carry a stone as large as he can upon his shoulders, and lay them at the entrance to the fields of battle. This is where your army will sleep for the night before battle tomorrow." The Rephaim did as Baal of the moon had instructed them. 50 of the leaders of the armies carried large stones on their shoulders and piled them near the entrance to the field of battle. King Og, Ogyas, Orneus, and Anak, the keeper of the dies before Baal, each moved the 50 stones to the center of the entrance to the field of battle between Og and Nimrod's kingdoms. The stones were to stay there.
Read that one more time.
Each moved the 50 stones to the center of the entrance to the field of battle between Og and Nimrod's kingdoms.
So between. They didn't go somewhere the fuck else. They was right outside their kingdoms, bro, in the middle, like, yo, we're going to kill each other.
Anak then spoke to the army of 100,000 and said, "These stones are assigned to you so that when the smaller selves ask you, 'What do these stones mean to you?' you can tell them the circumcised Nephilim were cut off from the kingdom of Og and from Baal of the moon. Therefore, these stones will always be a memorial for the uncircumcised Rephaim forever."
God, I wish we knew where those were.
That's nice. That gives the gist of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish there was more. I wish we knew where they were.
Well,
but a flood happened.
I was going to say,
pushed them.
The thing is that it also states, which we'll read next week, that they moved it. It's not in a big pile anymore.
Oh, they threw them. Yeah.
They threw them. So it's really just, where is this? I'm sure they're buried and possibly even underground by now, or underwater rather. Also, either one, underground or underwater.
Where is Babylon?
But it's a plain with big, huge boulders scattered throughout it, just thrown haphazardly. So it's interesting where that would be today and if it would be underwater, because that was the beginning of the Great Flood. That was the beginning of the deluge when they started fighting. We'll read as well. It's slowly climbing up their legs.
Because remember, we live on the mountains. We live on mountaintops. When we look up at mountains, those mountains, you couldn't even see those mountains in their times. They was way down. Imagine being 420 meters lower on ground level. That's insane. Like, we're only a couple hundred feet above sea level. So imagine, like, you know how like Florida is right there on the water, New York's right there on the water. Mm-hmm. So imagine being like there, but way the fuck down, way farther, because there would be all these open plains. Like the whole ocean floor would be wide open. It'd be wide open plains. So it could possibly be.
Indeed.
Underground.
Good show, indeed. So yeah, we got the book of Enoch in today.
2 Kings 6:29. 2 Israelite women boiled and ate one of the something.
One of the what?
Job is considered the oldest book in the Bible, but how can it be older than Genesis? That's the beginning of anything according to, but historians date Job older than Genesis.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it?
How could Job be there if there was no people yet?
Honestly, the Bible is written by man for the most part. It is really written by man and their perspective of what had been told to them passed through. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm more apt to believe what is written on some million-year-old stone tablets before I am the Bible. Just me. Just
it's written to keep people under control and keep your prayers and donations going to a certain spot in a certain direction, you know, so not all these people are just being spiritual beings and coming together and holding hands and spirit powering shit, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be eating the good fruits and vegetables of our planet, not eating the flesh of the earth, right? We're supposed to be one with our planet and being kumbaya and being hippies and shit, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people have moved away from that, and that's when they go into, I need something to be powerful over me. And they look and they find God. But when you research and stem all the way back, it's always an Anunnaki. Always. It's always stemming back to that. Never was there anything that swooped in. Nothing swooped in and said, yeah, the fallen angels, yeah, those were part of a whole different group of people that came here and created you guys and thought they were gods, but they really was fucking up. So I had to swoop in here real quick and show you who was boss, but I'm going to lie to you and tell you I'm just God. I'm not going to really tell you what's that story. None of it makes sense. You got to look beyond it all. And Enoch uncovers a lot of truths about some shit, you know, but he's still in the dark about crap because, you know, Noah comes out and we already know who Noah is, exactly who created Noah with his own seed. Noah came out. Oh, wait. It did. Oh, no, it wasn't in there. It was only about the book of the giants. Mm-hmm. That's right. I was telling you guys it was going to have Noah in there. Noah, they said Noah was alabaster in color. What color is alabaster?
It's pretty white, man. Pretty shiny white.
White. Not even peach, bro. He was alabaster white. That's why he glowed. He was this color, bro. He was the white as fuck. So if his sons were born, his sons couldn't be just all black. His sons were all mixed and shit. You know, even Ham. Ham was a mixed dude. He was probably white as shit. He was probably like an Arab looking dude. Ham's son, him and his line was cursed with the burnt face. That don't mean Ham was black. That don't mean Ham was black. I was trying to figure out if Ham was white or a whitish colored dude or a lighter colored dude. How the fuck did he have a bunch of black people? And I was like, well, he could have walked over to Africa where the primitive worker race still was at, and he could have banged a black chick over there and made more black people because, you know, the black mama is going to give you the more black kids. Only in the Anunnaki world did the dad matter. Here it's the mom matter. Back in the day, it was the mom had the strong genes. She had those strong genetics and shit. But they stole it. That's how they stole with religion, thinking the woman was important. They took the whole woman out the cross, right? They made it male, masculine instead of feminine, right? From the woman comes a man. How the hell is the man in charge?
He supplanted himself there.
Exactly. How is a man in charge of everything? The man's so important. If without a woman, there never could be a man. You might say, well, without Adam, the man, there could never be the woman. Bullshit.
You need a woman.
Because that's the lie.
For the womb.
Yeah.
To get the man.
That's the spell they want to keep you under. To think
that is the spell they want to keep you under.
Without the woman or without the man, the woman wouldn't be shit.
No,
right
there is where men supplanted themselves into rulership right there. Not equal, not being equal, not matriarchy, into plain the men is better.
Yep. They said they got tired of cloning motherfuckers. They was cloning and making men, pure men, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Man. They're like, yo, this has got to stop. We can't be, our pussies are sore and shit. Like, we need to make a woman so that they can bang her and then make more people. And it was like, okay, let's do that. And they made a woman person, human. And then they was all able to gangbang her. That's where Mandingo Party came from. They was all able to gangbang because they only had one. And then, no, for real.
What? I don't need, I'm not even going to ask.
Did you miss the breeding project? Anunnaki and the primitive worker race?
Yes.
You missed
No,
you read it.
no. Yeah, just keep going.
But that's what happened. They think about it. If Noah only had like 8 people on his boat, and then all of a sudden there's 9 million people, think about the gangbang orgy that had to happen. It had to be. It was all incest back in the day. And that's what it ran. On the Nibiru, that's how they run. Like they're running like, I'm king. I'm going to marry my sister. And I'm going to have a kid. I'm going to rape the shit out of her until she has a kid. A male heir. Like that's what they did. Like if I ever meet your God, I'm going to ask him, where are the 7 who judge? Where are the 7 who judge? They assembled new 7 who judge every time somebody got in trouble. There was never a set thing. They just knew their law said they needed to have 7 who judge and judge them. So he got convicted of rape. Lord Anki, he was being a pervert, raping the shit out of his fucking daughter too, and Nimma had to put a spell on his little Peter so he would be sick with everything. What up, Kelak is? What up? Yeah, man. I'm right though. It's crazy, man. All these things were Anunnaki. Like people were about to start a war on this planet. Literally a biblical war. Thinking they're more holy and more high because Enlil fucking said so. What about the other Anunnaki? What about the other Anunnaki gods when they come here? You think the giants, when they come out of Earth, are going to lay down? You think Lord Anki is going to lay down? You think Marduk is going to lay down? Marduk? Come on, man. There's still all these people, half the motherfucking planet that's underground or bloodlines are still pissed about, she said it, the moon child. So
Ready?
yeah, I'm ready. Have a good day, everybody. Remember, your God are only Anunnaki. If you don't know who the Anunnaki are and you want to call yourself awake, woke folk marching under God's banner, Israelite, joined in Christ, whatever the hell, go read about the Anunnaki. Follow those stories all the way up. Follow Solomon. Go read Solomon. Go read who Solomon's daddy is. Go read where Solomon is. You're going to find Solomon came out of Ur. You're going to find Ur is Lord Anki's capital. After the destruction of Atlantis, that's Lord Anki's capital. You're going to find that truth. You're going to find Solomon talk to Lord Anki. He taught him how to be a witch. Witchish. He's witchish.
He's witchish.
And Jewish. And the progenitor of your Lord and King Jesus. And you're going to find they're all Anunnaki people. Don't be fooled. You can be a human or you can be a puppet to the Anunnaki. Let's take our planet back. That's why I say human race, human lives matter.
That's right.
Human lives matter. We are one planet of a bunch of beautiful motherfuckers because I want to eat some of your food still.
So join us next week. Thank you for joining us this week. Next week, we're going to dive into the 100,000 Giants War, and we're going to dissect that.
That's right.
And spend a lot of time, and it's going to be crazy. So cheers, everybody. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
We're Shia.